Heartwarming escape. Discover the incredible journey of a bride who fled the Mafia and transformed her life. Mia stood in her parents' cramped living room, the smell of burnt coffee wafting in the air, rehearsing the words of love she'd share with Tony at their wedding in just 2 days. But as she gazed around at the peeling wallpaper and her mother's tired eyes, a knot twisted in her stomach. This was the dream she'd yearned for, yet something felt alarmingly off. Behind the glitz, Tony was the son of a Mafia kingpin, a deliciously dangerous man whose charm masked darkness she could hardly fathom. Just then, the door flew open, and her brother Sam entered, beads of sweat dotting his brow.
Mia.
You need to hear this, his voice trembled, eyes wide with panic. He'd discovered that Tony had been involved in shady dealings, threats, debts, and all too many whispers about families who'd suffered. A chill raced down her spine. Could their family be next? Fear gripped Mia's heart, and the dream she had woven with Tony unraveled faster than threads. Yet the night grew darker, and a palpable sense of dread wrapped around her like a suffocating blanket. Torn between loyalty to her family and an insatiable yearning for freedom, Mia's heart raced. Just as shadows loomed over her hopes, a glimmer of possibility appeared. With a sudden rush, she made up her mind. She slipped into the night, leaving a note on the table. I'm sorry, but I can't be who you want me to be. Running into the world was liberating and terrifying. The rain poured down as she found cover under Frank's awning, the retired war veteran who had welcomed Mia's family with open arms when they first moved to the neighborhood. She knocked lightly, and he opened the door, his lined face breaking into a warm smile. Mia.
Come in, child.
Inside, amidst the warmth of the dim light, Frank's granddaughter, Lily, bounded up. You should have seen me today. I won first prize in the science fair. Her excitement was infectious. Mia couldn't help but smile. For the first time, she felt something fragile but strong hope. Frank and Lily took her in without a question, shielding her from the storm and the troubles that haunted her, forging a bond that felt almost familial. Yet in a community that whispered of Mafia ties, some neighbors were less welcoming. Their narrowed eyes met Mia's like cold steel. We don't want that kind here, they muttered, judgment dripping from their words. The sting of prejudice pierced her. She had to fight for her place. Mia slowly discovered her strength, while Frank and Lily rallied their neighbors to support her. She's not her past, Frank announced at a community meeting, his voice steady. The tide began to change, and whispers turned into conversations. But just as she felt herself standing taller, the Mafia's shadow loomed, threatening her fragile peace. As tensions mounted, Mia discovered secrets about her family's past sacrifices made for her protection, loyalty that challenged her own dreams. Standing on the precipice, she could either choose to embrace her family's burdens or redefine what love and loyalty meant to her. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Mia faced a heart-wrenching dilemma: stay and confront the darkness in both her worlds, or break free to forge a new path. Her decision could ricochet throughout her community, challenging everything she thought about love and family ties. As the night darkened around her, a confrontation with her past beckoned, a moment that would determine not just her fate, but the fate of those she loved. Mia sat on the edge of the old, weathered couch in Frank's living room, her heart pounding in rhythm with the rain drumming on the window. She watched the droplets race each other down the glass, distracting herself from the gnawing fear that had taken up residence in her stomach. Every thunderclap echoed her anxiety, reminding her that she had choices to make, and time was running out. Frank and Lily were in the kitchen, their soft voices mingling with the sounds of clinking dishes. Frank was preparing a late-night snack, a kind gesture meant to comfort Mia. She appreciated their kindness, but couldn't shake the worry that tightened around her heart. If she stayed too long, Would the Mafia find her? Would they put her family in danger? She couldn't let that happen. The memory of Sam's alarmed face replayed in her mind. You can't trust them, he said, the echo of his voice affirming her deepest fears. But then there was Tony, with his charming smile and comforting words. Had he really been deceiving her all along? With every question came another wave of self-doubt, chipping away at the walls she had tried to build around her heart. Just as she prepared to slip back into her thoughts, Lily dashed into the room, a bright smile cutting through the shadow of Mia's worries.
Mia.
Can you help me with my next project? It's about making a homemade volcano. Her enthusiasm was contagious, and for a moment, Mia allowed herself to forget the storm brewing outside, both in the weather and in her life. Absolutely, Mia replied, forcing a smile. They gathered supplies from various corners of the house: vinegar, baking soda, and a cardboard piece that would serve as the volcanic base. As they worked side by side, Mia felt a flicker of joy. It was a reminder of the simple pleasures she'd been missing. How long had it been since she last engaged in childlike excitement? Frank joined them, setting a tray of cookies on the table. Make sure that volcano doesn't erupt too much, he chuckled, his blue eyes twinkling with warmth. Mia's heart swelled, wrapping around the sense of family that enveloped her. It was a stark contrast to the life she had been walking away from, but just as camaraderie filled the room, the shrill ring of the phone shattered the moment. Mia's heart raced. The sound echoed ominously, stirring the anxieties she tried to push aside. Frank glanced at the wall clock. That'll be the third time today, he said, concern etching his features. I'll get it. Mia felt the walls closing in as she fought to breathe. What if it was Tony? What if it was someone looking for her? She needed to know. Breathing deeply, she followed Frank into the hallway, curiosity and fear intermingling with each step. Frank picked up the receiver, his expression shifting as he listened. The stern lines on his forehead deepened, a shadow crossing his face. No, she's not here. His voice was firm and unwavering. You can take that somewhere else. Mia's heart drummed faster. Who was on the other end? Was it Tony, or perhaps someone sent by him? Questions raced through her mind like wild horses. As Frank hung up, he turned to her, the worry clear in his eyes. You need to be careful, Mia, he said quietly. Her heart sank at his words, knowing the looming danger had crept closer. The laughter and warmth in the kitchen felt fragile in the face of uncertainty. What do I do now? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. Frank stepped closer, offering her a reassuring hand. You must decide where your loyalty lies, and if that means leaving everything behind, then you need to go. But it may come at a price. Mia took a deep breath. The weight of his words hung in the air. Could she really walk away from everything she loved? Just then, another crack of thunder clapped outside, underscoring the choice she had yet to confront. With a pounding heart, Mia realized that the moment to act was drawing closer. Sometimes, the hardest choice was the one that led to true freedom. But it would also mean facing the truth of her past head-on. As she stood at this new crossroads, the doorbell rang. A cold shiver shot through her. Who stood at the door? Mia's breath hitched in her throat, a mix of dread and hope swirling together like the storm outside. The doorbell rang again, clamoring for attention, the sound slicing through her thoughts. Frank glanced back at her, uncertainty lining his features. Should we answer it? I don't know, Mia stammered, her body frozen in place. She fought the instinct to hide, to retreat into the shadows of the living room, away from whatever danger lurked outside. Lily, obliviously enthusiastic, dashed toward the door. I'll get it, she exclaimed, her small hand already reaching for the knob. Maybe it's someone with cookies. Wait, Lily.
Don't.
Mia shouted, the panic spilling from her lips. Frank moved quickly, stepping in front of Lily and opening the door just enough for him to peer outside. The rain soaked his shoulders as he surveyed the dimly lit porch. He frowned. It's only the repairman, he forgot his tools. Mia felt her heart rate steady just a bit. The tension in the air lifted slightly, though the cloudy days of her life still loomed overhead. Frank closed the door, but the relief was short-lived. The conversation had shifted back to her. "Are you okay?" Frank asked, his eyes studying her face.
I can see you're scared.
"We can call the police again. They can help you." "No," she said firmly, shaking her head. "If they find out I'm here, it puts all of you in danger. I can't let that happen." The truth stung like acid on her tongue. What if Tony was right? What if she really couldn't trust Frank and Lily? The very thought made her recoil, but she fought against the doubt. "You need to do what's best for you," Frank said, his tone gentle, yet with an undertone of urgency. "It's important that you think about yourself for a change. Not just them." Mia felt a tear slip down her cheek at his words. Everyone around her had been so kind, so willing to help. But was she really that deserving? "What if I leave, and it doesn't work out?" she asked, her voice quaking. "What if I go back to him?" "Then we'll find you again," Frank vowed, his voice low but steely. "We will always be here for you. Family doesn't just vanish." Tears fell freely now, one after another, cleansing her fear, even if only a little.
Family.
The word tasted different now, filled with promise instead of pain. She wanted to believe in it.
Mia.
Lily piped up, her cheerful voice pulling Mia from her thoughts. "Can we finish our volcano now? It's going to be so cool." Mia smiled through her tears. Lily's innocence reminded her of how much she had let those worries envelop her. A volcano would erupt, yes, but it was just baking soda and vinegar, a harmless childhood joy. "Sure, let us do it," Mia said, her voice regaining its strength. All of a sudden, she was struck with a realization. She couldn't hide forever. She needed to face what was coming, whatever it might be. She found her composure and grabbed Lily's hand. "Let us make the biggest explosion this house has ever seen." As they rushed back into the kitchen, Mia felt a flicker of resolve reignite within her. She could be brave. She could be fierce. But there was still a question that weighed heavy in her heart. Was she strong enough to truly leave her past behind? After a series of eruptions and laughter filled the room, the doorbell rang once more, loud and intrusive. This time, however, the intensity felt different. They all exchanged uncertain looks, a knot tightening in Mia's stomach. "Who could it be this time?" she whispered, the storm outside mimicking the tempest of her heart. Frank hesitated, a deep frown appearing again on his face. "Let us just be careful," he replied, placing a protective hand on Mia's arm. When she understood the real storm hadn't been weather-related at all. It was just beginning. Mia clutched Lily's hand tightly, her own heart drumming in sync with the ominous doorbell. Each ring reverberated through her, a reminder of the dark shadows from which she was trying to escape. She felt Frank's reassuring grip on her arm, grounding her amidst the chaos. "Stay close to me," he whispered, his voice low but firm. Lily's innocent curiosity shone through as she squinted at the door. "Can I peek? Maybe it's another repairman."
No.
The word escaped Mia before she could hold it back. She took a breath, swallowing the fear. "We need to be careful. It could be anyone." Frank stepped forward, the protective energy radiating from him as he moved toward the door. Mia's eyes darted to the kitchen window, where the rain continued to pour like a relentless tide. What if Tony had somehow found her? The thought burned in her chest. The door clicked open slowly, revealing a figure silhouetted against the dim light outside. Frank's expression shifted instantly, confusion knitting his brows. "What are you doing here?" Mia strained to see, her pulse racing. The figure only stepped further into the light, and Mia gasped. "Is that Janelle?" "Hey, Mia," Janelle said, her voice temporarily lost in the storm. "I just wanted to make sure you were okay. I got worried when I heard what happened." Mia didn't know whether to feel relieved or more anxious. Janelle was the last person she thought would come knocking. "How did you even find me?" "I can be resourceful," she shrugged, brushing the rain from her hair. "I wanted to help. I thought maybe you could use a friend." Mia's gut twisted. The last thing she wanted was to put Janelle at risk. "You shouldn't have come here. It's not safe." Lily, who had been quiet, moved closer to Janelle. You look like you're soaked.
Did you swim here?
Janelle chuckled softly, kneeling to be at Lily's eye level. Not quite, kiddo. But I could use a warm hug. Mia felt a surge of gratitude toward Janelle while also sensing the tension in the air. A part of her wanted to embrace the warmth and comfort of friendship, but the other part was too afraid. Please, everyone, just be careful, Frank urged again, his concern deepening as he recognized the stakes climbing higher. Suddenly, as if the storm had reached an agreement with Mia's fears, the lights flickered. A tense hush filled the room, and Mia's heart sank further. The power was failing, but it only felt like the calm before a much larger storm. Maybe we should get some flashlights? Frank suggested, attempting to lighten the mood as the shadows danced ominously around them. Mia's eyes were glued to Janelle, whose confidence was unwavering. You know what? Let us do something fun. You remember that game we used to play? Hide and seek? Can we? Lily's face lit up with excitement, the anxiety of the moment easing just a bit. Mia hesitated. Are you sure this is a good idea? We need to be brave, right? Janelle winked at Lily. And a little fun won't hurt. Besides, I'm here now. Nobody is getting through this door. Not with Frank and me on watch. Mia felt a small flicker of hope ignite, losing herself in the gleam of Lily's excited smile and Janelle's unshakable resolve. But in the back of her mind, she couldn't shake the feeling that things were about to get a lot more complicated. As they gathered flashlights, ready to start the game, Mia felt the weight of the storm outside mirrored by the storm within. Just as they turned off the main lights, another sharp knock echoed through the house, and Mia froze. Her heart raced as she turned toward Frank, who stood still, his face devoid of color. Get back, now, he whispered urgently, stepping in front of her and Lily. Mia's mind spiraled. Who is it this time? And could they trust whoever stood on the other side? Every heartbeat felt like a countdown to something she wasn't ready to face. The night was far from over, and Mia could only hold her breath, waiting for the answer that would shake the foundation of everything she'd been building for herself. The door loomed, and so did her choice. What would it reveal? Mia's breath caught in her throat. The air thickened around them, each second stretching painfully long. Frank's back was a solid wall, shielding her and Lily from whatever danger awaited behind that door. The knocking came again, insistent and demanding, each thud mingling with the rhythm of Mia's racing heart. Who is it? Frank called, his voice steady but urgent. The question felt heavy, as if it could represent a crossroads they hadn't prepared for. Lily squeezed Mia's hand tighter. I'm scared, she whispered. Her wide eyes darted from Frank to Janelle, then back to the door. Me too, Mia admitted, crouching low to meet her daughter's gaze. But we're together, and we're going to be okay. No matter what. A low chuckle escaped Janelle's throat. I think it might be the pizza guy, she said, trying to lighten the mood, but her smile faltered under the weight of their situation. But an icy tremor ran down Mia's spine. Tony had threatened them before, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the uncertainty at the door could very well be a part of that dark world trying to worm its way back into their lives. Mia. The voice from outside drew her attention. It was a voice she thought she'd never hear again, but it was unmistakable. A shiver traveled through her. It's Tony. Please open up, I need to talk to you. The room fell silent. The air turned electric, suffocating her with dread. Every instinct screamed to protect Lily at all costs. Having him this close sent adrenaline surging through her veins. Though she knew it was a risk, her heart couldn't ignore the thought that had crossed her mind. Could he have come to apologize? Stay back. Frank's voice cut through her thoughts sharply. I don't trust him. Mia's heart raced, torn between the hope that Tony had changed and the reality of who he truly was. Part of her still longed for the connection they had, for their shared laughter and fleeting moments of happiness, while another part of her understood that this wasn't the same man she had once loved.
Mom, who is that?
Lily whispered, peeking out from behind Mia. It's someone from the past, sweetie. Someone I don't think we can trust. Mia's voice trembled slightly, but she masked her fear with resolve. We've been through too much to let him back in without knowing what he really wants. Look, Mia. Janelle interjected, her brow creased with anxiety.
You have to decide now.
We don't know how long he'll be out there. As if on cue, the knocking intensified, more aggressive, echoing off the walls. Tony's voice softened, a hint of desperation threading through. Mia, please. I'm not here to hurt you.
I need to explain.
You need to let me in. Mia's heart lurched, but she stood her ground. She felt Frank's hand on her shoulder, grounding her once more. Think about Lily, he said quietly, his eyes firm on hers. With each moment that slipped by, the storm outside roared louder, as if mirroring the inner tumult within her. Tony's voice broke through again, raw and pleading. I'm not the man I was. I've changed. Mia spat, the anger simmering within breaking through. You think those words mean anything after everything you've done? You don't get to just walk back into our lives. The silence that followed was deafening, only interrupted by the sound of the rain crashing down fiercely against the windows. Let us go in another room, Janelle suggested, her own anxiety palpable. We can figure this out as a team. But the thought of leaving Lily in the same house as Tony, even for a moment, sent Mia's spine straight. Right here, Mia said firmly. This is the only place we need to be. The uncertainty crackled in the air like static. Mia felt her entire world hinge on this moment. She had escaped the clutches of chaos once and needed to be even more vigilant now. As she approached the door, a wicked notion flickered in her mind. This was it. The moment where everything could either fall apart or begin to heal. But just as she reached for the handle, the power flickered again, plunging them into darkness. A loud crash rang from outside, followed by a guttural shout that sent shivers down Mia's spine. The door rattled violently against its frame as a sudden fear washed over her. Mia, watch out. Frank's urgent voice surged through the shadows. The storm wasn't just out there anymore. It had come crashing right into their lives, and the only question she could think was, would she be able to weather it? The moment the lights went out, a deeper kind of darkness enveloped them. The rain pounded against the windows, urging them to hide, to run. The crash outside rattled her nerves, and Mia felt her heart leap into her throat. Stay close, Frank shouted, his voice steady amidst the chaos. He took a protective step towards Mia and Lily, blending instinct and urgency into an unyielding presence.
Mom.
Lily cried, her voice a small sound in the tempest. She tugged on Mia's sleeve, her eyes wide with fear. I know, honey. I'm right here, Mia whispered, her own panic reflected in her daughter's face. She wished she could shield Lily from everything, the fear, the memories, the danger that Tony brought with him. The knocking started again, louder now, relentless. Mia, let me in. Please. You don't understand. Tony's voice carried an urgency that was both familiar and frightening. Do we let him in? Janelle's voice trembled, merging doubt with urgency, something Mia had been wrestling with ever since she'd heard Tony's name again. No, Frank said firmly. He's not the same man. We can't risk it.
Mom.
Lily's face twisted in concern. What are we going to do? Mia took a breath, opened her mouth, but the weight of the moment strangled her thoughts. She hadn't thought this far ahead, hadn't anticipated the chaos Tony would bring crashing back into their lives. We wait, she finally said, her voice stronger than she felt. We wait for the storm to pass. Together. Outside, the wind howled, whipping through the trees like a freight train. The shadows cast by the lightning flickered around them, revealing the stark fear etched on all their faces. It felt like a scene from a nightmare, and Mia couldn't shake the thought of what Tony wanted. Was he truly changed, or was this another front? Lily's grip tightened on her hand, so warm and innocent. What if he tries to break in, Mom? Mia knelt beside Lily, so their eyes met. Then we'll figure it out. I promise. No matter what, we stick together. She wished she believed her own words more than she did. The storm outside mirrored the storm within her, each sound igniting raw fear and uncertainty. Listen, Frank said, his expression shifting into something fierce. Whatever he has to say, we'll handle it. It's just words, Mia. He can't hurt us unless we let him in literally or figuratively. Mia nodded, but doubts still gnawed at her. Was there truth to what Tony had said? Had he really changed, or was this just another manipulation? Would the haunted past swallow them whole if she dared to unlock that door? Thunder rumbled, shaking the ground beneath them. In a split second, Mia was transported back to when their life had been shattered, the fists and the fear coming at them like the waves outside. Suddenly, Tony began demanding access again, his voice shifting from pleading to urgent. You have to trust me, Mia. I'm not your enemy. None of this is happening in reality, Janelle muttered, pacing slightly, her own distress surfacing like a creature from the deep. The tension in the air was palpable, each moment stretching painfully long. And then, as another powerful crash echoed in the distance, the front door splintered under the weight of a wild thrust.
No.
Frank shouted, pushing forward as fear ignited a formidable alliance of protection within him. But it wasn't just the door that threatened to break. It was the fragile trust Mia had built, the risk that accompanied holding onto the ghosts of her past. Her heart raced. She had to decide, would she let this man back into their lives again? A flicker of bravery surged through her as the pounding on the door ceased momentarily. Lily, keep close, she whispered, lifting her chin with determination. Just because the storm raged outside didn't mean they had to succumb. And with a straining breath, Mia took a step toward the door, ready to confront the chaos that awaited her on the other side. But what she didn't expect was for the door to give way completely, swinging open, revealing not just Tony, but something far more dangerous. The gusts of wind swirled around them like wild spirits as the door burst open, slamming against the wall. Mia stood frozen, eyes wide, heart thundering. Through the doorway, Tony stumbled in, soaked and wild-eyed, but it wasn't his presence that stole the breath from her lungs. Behind him lurked a shadow massive, menacing, a silhouette that promised chaos. No! Frank lunged, putting himself between Mia, Lily, and the intruder.
Get back.
His voice echoed with defiance, a desperate plea to protect his family. Mia felt her heart racing, not just from fear, but from the pulse of something dark awakening inside her, a recognition of the danger they were facing. Let me explain. Tony shouted, his voice strained, almost desperate. He was drenched, and for a moment, Mia swore she could see a flicker of sincerity behind his panic. But that flicker faded the moment the shadow brushed past him. The figure stepped into the flickering light, revealing a face Mia thought she would never have to see again. Jack, Tony's old accomplice. His eyes glinted with malice, and Mia felt the air go stale in her lungs. This wasn't just a reunion with an old ghost. This was a high-stakes game she had never wanted to play again. What are you doing here? Tony yelled as he staggered backwards, fear replacing the urgency in his voice. Jack just smiled, a smile that sent a chill down Mia's spine. She took a step back, instinctively drawing Lily closer to her side. Mia's mind raced. She could feel the pull of her past, threatening to engulf her once again. This wasn't just about Tony anymore. It was about safety and survival. The wind screamed outside, and the storm was no longer just a backdrop but a reflection of the intrusions in her life. Let us talk, Tony, Jack said, his tone smooth like oil, pressing forward with slow, deliberate steps. You've got something I want, and there's no need for things to get messy. He glanced at Mia and Lily, then back at Frank. Maybe we can make a deal. But for that, we need to play nice no deals. Frank roared, fists clenched tightly at his sides, ready to defend his family at any cost. The tension in the room rose like a fever pitch. Mia could hear her heartbeat drumming louder, drowning out all other sounds. Suddenly, everything seemed to shift. The wind outside howled a warning, as Jack's gaze locked on her, a predator sizing up its prey. She's worth a lot to you. Isn't she, Tony? Jack said, eyes glimmering with something dangerous and appetite for destruction. Or maybe she's just a liability now.
Stop it.
Tony barked, his panic morphing into rage. She asked my family. You have no right. But the shadows in the room loomed larger as doubt seeped into his voice. Your family? Jack laughed darkly. She never was, and after I'm done tonight, she won TV again. Mia felt a surge of protective instincts rise within her, raw and fierce. What had she sacrificed to build this life and protect her daughter? Would she really let it all go, or could she tap into that courage deep inside her that had fought so hard to escape the shadows of her past? Lily, she whispered urgently, we're going to move. When I say go, you and I are bolting for the back door. Lily's eyes widened, but she nodded, trust shining through her fear. Just then, a loud crash of thunder echoed, drowning out everything as the power flickered once more, plunging them momentarily into darkness. For that instant of uncertainty, Mia grasped for hope. Was this chaos the moment to break free, or would the walls of her past close in, sealing their fate? As lights returned, she turned to see Jack lunging for them, an imposing shadow among the chaos. Time seemed to slow as she steeled herself to face him, and then Mia made her move, ready to unleash all the strength she had gathered over the years. But would it be enough to protect her family from the darkness that threatened to swallow them whole? Mia didn't think. She just acted. Heart racing, she grabbed Lily's small hand and darted toward the kitchen, where another exit lay concealed by clutter. Frank's fierce shout echoed behind her, a desperate war cry. Her instincts screamed at her to run, but the shadows, Jack's shadow, in particular, threatened to engulf them. The kitchen lights flickered, illuminating the chaos of overturned chairs and scattered toys. It was all too familiar, too chaotic, like the storm of her past she had tried so hard to escape. Mama, what is happening? Lily's voice trembled. Stay close to me, Mia urged, squeezing her daughter's hand. Mia's own voice trembled but stayed firm. They dashed toward the back door, its familiarity a tiny anchor in this sea of chaos. A burst of cold air met them as she pushed it open, the storm screeching louder than ever. But even with the door ajar, doubt crept in. What if Jack followed them? Could they outrun him?
Go,
Mia whispered fiercely, shoving Lily through the door, her heart breaking and swelling at once. Feeling the weight of protecting her daughter, they stumbled into the downpour, rain pelting their skin and blurring their vision. The night was a cacophony of thunder and howling wind, yet it fueled Mia's resolve. She glanced back only once, catching the silhouette of Frank, still standing defiantly against Jack. But he wasn't in control of the situation anymore, and that realization spiraled a jolt of panic through her. Mom, Lily pulled on her arm, snapping her back to reality. We need to keep moving. Mia focused her eyes on the path leading to the nearby trees. Nature always felt like a refuge to her, a safe space amidst the madness of the world. Storm and shadows were both relentless, but she pushed forward, navigating through the relentless rain, the slippery ground threatening her footing. Just as they neared the treeline, the crack of thunder exploded overhead, creating a brief moment of blinding light. In that flash, Mia caught sight of Jack bursting through the door, his expression twisted with determination.
Run,
She yelled, heart racing anew as she urged Lily onward. They zigzagged through the brush, limbs flailing as she urged her daughter to keep pace. The trees loomed above them like dark sentinels, offering a rough shelter from the chaos behind. I can't, Lily gasped, struggling to keep up. Yes, you can. Just a bit farther. Every word felt like it strained against the weight of fear. Mia felt the adrenaline pulse through her veins, driving her forward, but an internal clock began to tick. Jack was not far behind, and she could hear the low growl of his voice blending with the storm. You can't run forever, Mia, he called out, laughter laced with malevolence. I always find you. The shadows chased them deeper into the woods, and Mia could feel Jack's presence closing in like a storm cloud pressuring everything below. It's okay, sweetie. You're safe with me, Mia whispered, though she couldn't shake off the uncertainty. They plunged into a small clearing, the darkness around them closing in, trees like ancient guardians. Suddenly a thought struck her, the secret cellar she had once used for the winter supplies. Maybe it could provide them with a moment of respite. Mama, are we safe? Lily looked up, trust shining through her fear yet again. Almost there, love, Mia reassured, tightening her grip on Lily's hand as she navigated through familiar terrain. Just then, they heard a loud crack, followed by a sickening crunch. An enormous branch fell, landing just behind them in a splintering crash, forcing Mia to freeze in place. Heart racing, she held her breath, and for a split second, they stood together in silent terror, listening. Jack's footsteps thundered through the underbrush, growing closer by the second. Would they make it in time? Could they reach the cellar before he found them? In the tense silence, Mia clamped her eyes shut, willing the courage that had always flickered inside her to ignite. This was her moment to fight back, to protect what she loved. But as the footsteps drew nearer, she knew that decision would come at a cost. Would she risk everything for a fading glimmer of hope? Mia took a breath, her determination igniting along with the adrenaline coursing through her body. Every heartbeat reminded her of what was at stake. She couldn't let Jack take them. Not now, not ever. With Lily still holding tightly to her hand, she whispered fiercely, "We can't stop. We have to keep moving." Just as the words left her lips, something crashed against the ground behind them. A branch snapped, a dark omen of Jack's potential arrival. Mia could feel the panic rising, but she resisted it, focusing instead on the cellar just a few steps away. "This way," she urged, pulling Lily toward the well-hidden entrance, hoping against all hope that they would reach safety. They ducked beneath low branches and leapt over roots. The storm poured relentlessly, mixing with the dirt to form a squelchy mess beneath their feet. Each step felt heavy, but they pressed on, driven by the singular goal of survival. The cellar was just beyond the thicket of trees. Mia caught a glimpse of the door, partially concealed by ferns and fallen leaves. Her heart skipped. They were almost there. Just as they reached the entrance, another deafening crack of thunder shook the ground, and Mia's stomach dropped. "Lily, hold on tight," she said, her voice urgent but trembling. She flung open the cellar door, which creaked ominously in the storm. It was dark inside, the air stale, but it felt like a haven. They tumbled down the steep steps, Lily stumbling slightly, but Mia was right there to catch her.
Sure, I said.
Mia urged as they landed softly on the cool earth floor. The lock on the door was rusty, and when she tugged it shut behind them, it groaned as if it, too, was reluctant to give them safety. Mia knelt beside Lily, cupping her daughter's cheeks with shaking hands. "Look at me, sweetheart. We're safe here for now." She wished she could believe the firmness of her words. She fought back the tears threatening to spill, knowing she had to stay strong for Lily. "I don't like it," Mommy Lily's small voice trembled. "What if he finds us?" Mia swallowed hard, wanting to shield her child from every cruel reality, every bitter truth. "He won T. We're safe down here, and we'll stay quiet. He'll never think to look for us here." The faint light from the outside sent shadows dancing across the stone walls, and Mia felt her heart surge with both love and fear. As they sat in the dark, a thought tugged at Mia's mind. She had spent so long running, hiding, never allowing herself to feel at home or settled. Knowing that Jack was still chasing them was maddening, but here, in this quiet space, she could breathe. She could think. What if we leave tonight? Her mind rushed ahead. Could they risk everything again, perhaps leaving the town, going far away? But could they even hope to start anew? A sudden noise pierced through her thoughts, an unmistakable crunch of leaves above, a heavy footfall, unmistakably Jack. "Mia," he called softly yet tauntingly. "I know you're down there." Fire sparked in Mia's stomach, a mix of dread and defiance. She gripped Lily tightly, as if to channel courage from the little girl. "Stay quiet, don't make a sound," she whispered. Jack's voice echoed closer, a snake slithering through the grass. "You can't hide from me forever." Mia's heart pounded louder than the storm overhead. How far would she go to protect her daughter? Would she confront him? The weight of the decision pressed down, heavier than anything she had experienced. "Mommy?" Lily's voice quivered. Mia squeezed her daughter's hand tighter, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "We are not alone, honey, I'm right here." But would that be enough? Would they truly escape this night? She would have to summon a strength she didn't know she possessed. Hope flickered dimly. Embers of a plan began to form in her mind. They needed to move, to act before Jack turned from predator into something far more dangerous. Would they find a way out, or was this the moment where everything spiraled out of control? In a heartbeat, Mia knew she wouldn't wait in the dark. She would fight for their freedom. But would the cellar betray her, or would it become the place where they made their last stand? Mia held her breath, every muscle in her body tensed, clenching Lily's hand tightly. The shadows loomed closer, Jack's taunting voice echoing through her very core. The weight of fear pinched her heart, but something fierce ignited within her. This was her moment, the moment to transform and reclaim control. "Stay quiet," she whispered, looking into Lily's eyes that mirrored her own fear, yet also reflected unwavering strength. She could hear Jack just above them, moving with a predatory grace, his voice low and smooth. It shook her resolve, but only for a moment. Instead of despair, Mia felt something else, a glimmer of boldness surge into her heart. "We can't hide anymore," she thought. "I want to let him take our freedom." Drawing a shaky breath, she released Lily's hand, moving to the side of the cellar, peering through a tiny cracked window toward the storm outside. The rain poured heavy, but it was their shield. "We can't turn back now," she murmured, before turning back to Lily. "We're going to find a way out of here, together." A rush of determination propelled her into action. She turned to the stack of supplies that cluttered the space, her mind racing.
They could use this to buy time.
If she could create a distraction, perhaps they could slip away unnoticed. "I just need a plan. A split second, where are you going?" Lily asked softly, eyes wide. "To buy us some time," Mia whispered back, gathering some old wooden crates and empty paint cans clotted with dry paint. She worked quickly and quietly, heart pounding as the sounds of Jack's footsteps became more distinct, circling and searching above them. The floor creaked ominously, but Mia kept focused, her mind racing. "Are you okay, Mommy?" Lily's small voice tugged at her heart. "Yes, I promise," she said, forcing a smile despite the terror coursing through her.
"Just trust me."
At that moment, she found a long stick, rough and weather-worn, and propped it against a far wall. Next to it, she balanced the paint cans precariously. Now she whispered, "Let us make noise." With a swift motion, Mia pulled the stick and sent the paint cans clattering against the wall, the noise erupting like thunder. It echoed through the small cellar, rattling every inch of space, masking their presence.
"Hey,
what was that?" Jack's voice boomed above. It worked. Mia felt her heartbeat quicken with a thrill of possibility.
"Go,"
she urged, taking Lily's hand again and moving toward the back entrance. The distraction had given them a fleeting moment, the storm again masking the chaos above as Jack moved cautiously to investigate the noise. They slipped through the hidden door, the rain still pounding, but now each drop felt like a baptism, invigorating her spirit as they darted into the darkness of the woods. Where to? She muttered under her breath, pulled forward by instinct and maternal strength. "I'm scared, Mom," Lily whimpered. "I know, love. Just hold on to me," Mia panted as they wove through the trees, limbs scratching against her skin as if trying to grasp her back. She couldn't stop now. Suddenly, the branches parted, and she spotted a narrow path leading deeper into the woods. On impulse, she grabbed Lily's hand and darted down that path, hoping it would lead them far from Jack and the shadows of the past. With each step, the muffled sounds of the storm mixed with Lily's breaths and the pounding of Mia's heart. She pushed onward until they reached a clearing, their sanctuary momentarily away from the chaos. The moon peeked through the clouds, illuminating their path. "Mommy, what if he finds us?" Lily's voice trembled again. "Then we'll be ready," Mia replied, a fire igniting in her within. "I want to let him take us." In that moment of stillness, as the tempest raged around them, Mia's resolve crystallized. She could push past the ghosts of her past. She could protect her family. Her heart swelled with a fierce determination. Suddenly, a crack pierced the night air, and deep instinct told her they weren't out of danger yet.
Come on,
She exclaimed, and swiftly they took the trail further into darkness, engaging every ounce of maternal instinct she possessed. But just as they ventured deeper, they heard voices, a low hum of men talking amongst themselves. Mia's stomach twisted with fear. Had they stumbled across a group of Jack's allies? There was no time to waste. They needed to find somewhere hidden. Without thinking, Mia turned sharply into the underbrush, dragging Lily behind her. The damp leaves and tangling branches broke their sound, and she pushed through, her mind racing. It wasn't just about escaping, it was about breaking free, reclaiming their lives. Then, a glimmer of hope sparked. Not far ahead, a small cabin stood hidden among the trees, its windows dark, but its door slightly ajar. "We can hide there," she whispered urgently. "Mommy, what if they see us?" Lily questioned, her small voice filled with apprehension. "They won't. Just trust me," Mia urged, adrenaline fueling her instinct to protect. They reached the cabin, hearts racing as they slipped inside, the silence welcoming like a breath of fresh air. The dim light illuminated dust motes floating like stars, the smell of aged wood filling her lungs. Mia pressed her ear against the door, listening intently. The storm raged outside, and she could feel the shadows creeping around them, but in the face of her terror, she knew one certainty: she was not going to succumb again. As the tension built, she felt Lily's hand squeeze tighter around hers. "We're okay, right, Mom?" "Yes, Lily. We'll be okay," Mia reassured, her voice steady amidst the storm, every ounce of her maternal love overflowing into strength. The past didn't define her any longer. Out there beyond the walls, chaos might be surging, but inside, she had found something powerful, a strength unlocked through love. And that cabin, as the wind howled and the rain poured, Mia vowed to fight for their freedom, to stand tall against the shadows, to break the cycle with a fierce heart and unstoppable will. And if they had to face Jack one more time, this time they wouldn't back down. They would emerge victorious, not merely surviving but thriving together. Moments turned into hours as they waited silently, Lily clinging to her mother's side. Perhaps this was where the winds of change blew strongest, and now, Mia felt ready to harness that strength with unyielding resolve. When dawn broke, it would be time for their new beginning. Mia whispered softly to Lily, "Remember, in the end, love conquers all." And with that, they released their fear, ready for the light. Now, the fight was about to begin inside and out. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next chapter in Mia's incredible journey. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your interactions matter. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about Mia's transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how love can conquer all. Let us strengthen our community together.